Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today, let's take a look at the 2026 Honda Passport. This is a Trailsport Elite, finished off in Sonic Gray. MSRP is just over $49,000. Now this is powered by the 3.5 liter V6. It's paired to a 10-speed automatic, pumps out 285 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque. That power sent through the all-wheel drive system, propelling this 4,600 pound SUV from 0 to 60 in right around 7 seconds. It has a top speed of 110 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 18.5 gallons. You'll expect to see 18 miles per gallon in the city and 23 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 113.6 inches. Its overall length is 191.5. It has a width of 79.4, a height of 73.1, and its ground clearance measures in at 8.3 inches. Now, as we work our way to the exterior styling, you'll notice there's some orange accents, which are a part of the Trailsport package. So it's on the badge. It's also on the tow hooks that are located down below, where there's also a skid plate underneath for added protection. Now, the Honda badge is also a sensor. You'll notice there is a forward camera just underneath that, along with a sensor for distance pacing, which is nice. Passport is also stamped in the bodywork in between the grills, where there's a lot of cutouts to provide cooling. Now, this trim accent is not functional, but it does give it a great look, along with the rest of the lines that come down the hood. And then this also has LEDs for all of the lighting, including the fog lights that are in the lower section of the bumper. Now, there's also parking sensors located down below there, and then you'll notice some more of the smaller air dam in the lower section, just to help better improve with some airflow. Now, as we work our way to the side with the Trailsport model, this comes with the off-road tuned suspension. You'll also notice a little bit more of an aggressive all-terrain tire for this, along with the multi-spoke design for the gloss black wheels. Now, you'll notice most of the front bumper is finished off in plastic, and it works its way to the fender arches along with the lower side skirt. Now, this does have power folding side mirrors with a camera and a turn signal. You'll notice gloss black for the mirror caps. It matches the door handles. There's black window trim, black for the roof racks, and then a full moonroof up top. And then as we take a step back for this latest design, a little bit more boxy compared to the previous generation. I think it has a great look to it. Very flat rear end here. But you'll notice that we have the large cargo windows on the side, a spoiler up top. There's also the wiper blade, LEDs for all of the lighting, a backup camera, all the parking sensors. You'll see Passport stamped just like it was up front. And then this can tow right around 5,000 pounds with the factory hitch. Now, it does have remote start, so if you just hold on this control, you can start this up, where the exhaust is very well hidden, just to give this a little bit better of a departure angle. This isn't a hardcore off-roader, but it can tackle some light obstacles if needed. And then you just hold on that same control in order to shut the vehicle off. Now, you can use the button on the key fob or the control underneath to gain access to the cargo space. Now, the Passport is a 2-row SUV, and surprisingly, this has a ton of cargo space. Now, you'll notice on both sides there's some storage bins, so that way you can place additional items, keep them from rolling around. There's also bins located on both sides down below. Now, what's also nice, on this driver's side, you can actually flip this section up. I put groceries in here, line them up so that way they didn't roll around in this large section, which is nice. And then you can pop up the entire floor where you have a spare on the opposite side. Now, you can also fold down the back seats, of course, if you need more storage. And this is a really neat feature. So if you push on this control here right next to the auxiliary, you actually have some time to grab some bags, use both of your hands, and then when you walk away, it will close. Now, there is a control up top if you don't need to use that, but a very handy control, especially if you're grabbing more than one item. Now, this also has proximity door handles, so you can just grab any door to lock and unlock this. Where the interior has a really nice design, you'll notice the manual sunshades, really nice trim accents. There's a split style for your storage where you can place in some large drinks, which is nice to see, and then some of the orange stitching just to work its way to the interior. So you'll notice them on the seats here. Now, you can fold these seats down using the control next to the headrest, where you have a nice flat surface. Again, a ton of storage for this 2-row SUV. Now, it's pretty easy to hop in, and you have a lot of footwell space here. There's also storage pockets behind the seats. You have vents in the middle. This gets heated rear seats, all of the climate adjustments, and then some auxiliaries down below. Now, at my height, 5'10", I have maybe 3 inches or so of headroom, so you can be much taller than me. These seats are also angled back slightly, so this is a very spacious and comfortable place for passengers. Now, you have the armrest along with cup holders in the middle there. And then with those cargo windows, it's pretty easy to see around. You have quite a lot of glass for that back corner. Now up front, your driver gets memory seating adjustments. There's your window control, side mirror adjustments, and that same split design for the door panel. And then there's also automatic front seats with Trail Sport up in the headrest there. And with this being a rugged SUV, you can outfit it with a set of all-weather floor mats from Last Fit. You can get the entire kit. It's a really easy installation process and one that is going to provide you with a lot more coverage over the factory carpeting. You can still utilize the factory location to hold these in place, and it is going to be very easy to remove these, clean them, and reinsert them. So as you can tell, you have a lot more coverage, even covering the dead space pedal and the door sill itself. In the rear, you have that same thing, covering the door panel, and it's even underneath the seat a little bit. One solid piece going all the way to the opposite side. And then with your cargo space, you can even put in a full liner. You can even do the backing of the seats. So when you fold down the back seats, you have one continuous area for extra protection. So take a look at the link down in the description below where you can pick these up for your Passport. So as we hop in and start this up, this gets a leather wrapped steering wheel with more of the orange accents. There's also paddle shifters on both sides. And then on the right side, you'll notice your cruise control settings. There's distance pacing, your lane keeping assist. And then on the left side, there's tuning, volume, and voice commands. Now you also have these scrolling dials where you can go through the digital gauge cluster. So on the far left is engine temperature, far right is fuel. And then if I start scrolling on this left dial, you can go through your audio adjustments, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto on this left side. And then if you start scrolling on the right side, you have a lot more that you can get into with all of this information. So just depending on what you'd like to see, including the navigation, so you can pull that up as needed. You can go through even pitch and roll, so if you happen to take this off the pavement, and then you have some other vitals here to get into as needed. So very nice to see that amount of information. Now on this left side, there's a liftgate release along with a defroster. There's also one air vent. And then working our way to the infotainment system, this is a large screen where you have a lot to go through. You'll notice all these icons here, so you can easily get into your phone along with some of this other information. And you also have a split view, so that way you can look at info on that right side. You'll notice shortcuts on this left for your Google Assistants. You can pull up the maps in full screen as well, and then hook up your phone. And then there's volume just underneath that. You'll notice Passport is stamped just underneath that. There's also air vents, and then all of the climate adjustments. So there's fan speed, where you'd like the air to go, temperature. This has heated and ventilated seats, and you also have rear adjustments. So that way you can get into the rear settings from up front, which is nice. There's also auxiliaries down below, lots of storage with a wireless charging pad. You have cup holders and then your gear selector. So if I just push this backwards, that is for reverse, where you can bring up that angle along with a few different guidelines here that you can go into. And then if I put it into drive, now we have that forward facing angle along with the mirror angles there as well. So that way you have plenty of visibility, and then you do have neutral in the middle and then park at the top. Now behind that, there's the e-brake, auto hold, a downhill assist, engine start stop, and then you have several driving modes to go through just depending on what you are doing. So you have tow, you have some off-roading settings, and then you have some on-road settings too. Now behind that, you have quite a lot of space in the armrest. There's also some storage up top along with the locking glove box. And then up top, you have your rear view mirror along with a sunglass holder. And then there's controls for the sunshade and sunroof, which are both automatic. And then here's a look at visibility over both shoulders, where it is very easy to see with this squared off design. As we sat up behind the wheel now for the Honda Passport, I've been driving this for a few days, and honestly, this has been a really nice commuter SUV to drive. I haven't been able to pack it full of items, but there's plenty of space, and it's also very comfortable for your backseat passenger. So if you're looking for kind of a smaller SUV, you sit high up still. It's not huge for parking lot situations and things like that, but for its size and design, you have a lot of interior space. I think it's a really cool exterior design as well compared to the previous Passport, which had a little bit more curves to it rather than this boxy design that a lot of manufacturers are going to, so just a personal preference. But I think it's really nice. It also drives great as well. So let's put it into sport mode, and we have the paddle shifters now, so we can experience what those are like. And we will go from second gear. It's not crazy fast, but I think it has plenty of power to get up and move. and you have those paddle shifters if and when you need to use them. Mainly you might use those if you are off the pavement. Now, I've been to a lot of events. I haven't been able to take any Hondas off-road, but I've been able to see Honda always puts on an event where they can take the trail sports off the pavement. I think it's really cool to see Honda doing that and showing potential owners or even existing customers what their vehicles can do. Now, this isn't something that's going to go through some hardcore moguls or anything like that, but you can take this off the pavement enough to go through some minor moguls, some minor, trails, dirt, things like that, whatever the situation is, and at least go on your adventures with a model like this. So it's got a decent amount of off-roading performance for those types of situations. And as far as its maneuverability goes, like I said earlier, it's a small vehicle, so very easy to maneuver. I like that we have all of the camera angles to better help in your visibility. Seats have also been very comfortable for the amount of driving that I've done, and they are also height adjustable. So at 5'10", I have probably 3.5 inches of headroom, and you can adjust this seat for even more. So if you're taller than me, like I said, a small vehicle like this is extremely roomy on the interior and very practical for pretty much everything that you need. There's also a nice layout for all the tech features, so it's easy to go through. If you're not looking for a vehicle with a million different settings, it's pretty simple, but you can go through everything that you need to, really just pairing your phone to this system to be able to use that, and then you have a really nice layout for everything else. So it's a simple interior, but it's very effective for daily driving. And we're still in sport mode, second gear, here we go. And getting on it a little bit there, I'd say we have a good bit of power for this type of vehicle. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the latest Passport. You have a pretty good amount of visibility out of the front. I also forgot to mention too, Bose is the audio system for this model, but the pillars are pretty thin. You can see that passenger side there, so it's not all that hard to place that side, especially if you were to take this off-road. It's a pretty small vehicle to navigate some tighter situations. But the seats are super comfortable. The bolster support is very nice. And honestly, I really haven't had any complaints over the last couple days. I've been driving this out on the highway in the city like we are right now, and it seems pretty normal, pretty composed feeling. There's not much road noise, wind noise, anything like that. With this Trailsport Elite, this also has a little bit more knobby of a tire. It's still an all-terrain tire, it's still a factory tire, so it is going to be very comfortable. You don't have to worry about road noise or anything with that type of tire. And check out where you will have to back up, but that's a pretty tight turning radius. So it's very easy to maneuver and see around in general, which is nice. But if you're looking for a brand new vehicle, these start in the low $40,000 range and creep up to 52, 53. There is a blackout model, so one trim above this, so this isn't quite fully loaded, but essentially it's the same thing, just there's more black accents for the next trim level up. But in the low $50,000 range for the top trim level, this is a very nice vehicle. If you're looking for something brand new and you just want a nice, reliable, solid SUV, one that is very easy to go through, maintenance will be easy, it's going to last you quite a long time, you want that NA V6 engine, this is a great option. Now, as far as its towing goes, real quick, we'll talk about that. 5,000 pounds, realistically, maybe 3,000 or so, but you have the hitch there for maybe some kayaks or bikes or, some small activities like that you can hook up to, or something a little bit heavier if you needed it. But this is a great all-around SUV that's very capable and a great daily. So that is going to wrap it up for the 2026 Honda Passport. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.